So the situation with Daisy and Fresh from Fresh and Fit, they're like a podcast that go over, a podcast that's supposed to help men and whatnot. I've been looking at the situation that has been going on with Daisy Chen and Walter Weeks. Now, if you don't know who these people are, good for you. You don't need to. But because of the sake of example and what to avoid, I feel like it's important to touch on this topic. Fresh and Fit, that's a podcast that basically Walter Weeks, this is my first time as well knowing his actual name, but he actually goes by Fresh on the podcast Fresh and Fit. And if you don't really understand what type of podcast this is, then you should know that Myron Gaines, who plays as Fit, created a book called Women Deserve Less. So that in itself should tell you what type of podcast this is and what they represent. They represent men who supposedly men who are, teaching other men and how to be, this alpha male and how to be high value, right? And it's very interesting because I don't prolifically watch the show. I don't heavily watch it at all. I don't even anorexically watch it. Like I see clips here and there because they've said some pretty outrageous things, some pretty prejudiced things. They belittle women. And yes, these women are amongst the thought oasis that is out here at the moment, right? But still, it's just in a distasteful way. It's not in a, trying to teach you type of way, like how to go away from your wrongs that you're doing, from being, this person who doesn't value themselves and prostitutes themselves online or anything like that. But it's more of a podcast that is geared towards belittling these women, making them seem like they're nothing, embarrassing them, making the Fresh and Fit seem like they're these big alpha males and that they know how to maneuver amongst women and they know how not to get caught up. And the reason why, obviously, why this whole thing is a big situation in, I guess, the podcast, YouTube, internet world is because the values that these men try to put on other men, that try to make themselves seem like they're one way, but then they're not. And this is just something that's not uncommon amongst the internet. There's going to be so many people that pretend to be one way, but in reality, they are completely different. And one of the reasons why I thought like, wow, there's something wrong with this duo is the simple fact that the same women that they bring on these podcasts to completely grind them up are the same men that are grinding on them from behind the scenes, or the same women who are in fact getting DMs from these men, the same men that are interviewing them and getting these transactional meetups, if you know what I'm saying. So just in that itself and the hypocrisy that is, I already felt like, these aren't really men who are about their business. They are simply playing a role. But so this YouTube channel, Abba and Preach, basically had an interview with the woman in question who has been impregnated by Fresh, allegedly, by Fresh, aka Walter Weeks. Obviously, his name really does speak for itself because he was too weak to overcome the seduction of this woman, and now, if this is true, she has an 18-year meal ticket. So I'm about to take this moment to share my screen just to see what exactly she had to say in this scenario, and just like a quick backstory. Again, this is a woman, an IG model, who was on Fresh and Fit's podcast. Fresh ended up messing with her, and but not only that, he did some pretty outrageous things that we were going to go into, as far as creating this facade that he wanted to be with this woman and apparently have this woman be his baby mom. But she definitely has made some pretty crucial and stupid decisions on her part. But this is also just a consequence of the time that we're in.
Just more context. But I decided that I would interview the woman in question at the heart of this whole thing. She provided me a bunch of screenshots, Today on episode 2 of Surviving Fresh and Fit, I want to get to the bottom of this fiasco. If you haven't seen part 1, be sure to go check that out just for more context. But I decided that I would interview the woman in question at the heart of this whole thing. She provided me a bunch of screenshots, screen recordings, and a bunch of different things. And I think it answered a lot of the questions that would seem to be unanswered before. Things like whether or not she's a sex worker. She isn't. What was the timeline of events? Did Walter know that she was not on birth control? Was he aware that she was trying to have a child? Did they have discussions about it? Was he trying to be serious with her? What proof does she have that? All these things are going to get answered over the course of this interview. But first thing that I have to correct from the previous thing is that she's never been a sex worker. Turns out she won some kind of beauty pageant, and people just started uploading her page, her photos to some escorting sites, but it was just scam sites. Now, whether or not you want to believe that is up to everyone at home. But to date, there's no actual proof that she does any of that kind of work. On a live stream today, he said that you were never his girl.
He said that?
I made a statement on my vlog and on the show multiple times. And I said, this is a matter of fact, guys, look it up if you want to. I said, if a girl's on camera with me, she is what? Not my girl. Just keep that in mind. If I bring a girl on camera, she's not my girl. You never see my girl because I know what happens when you bring her on the internet. I'll learn from experience. That's all I'm gonna say.
Listen, this was a great trip. Happy to see a lovely Asian queen again. But you know, as time passes, we must say farewells for a short period of time until she comes back. So can't wait to see her back here in Miami. I love her. No, I do. Love you, baby.
He said, I love you, babe. So he's out here saying he don't claim her. He never claimed her. That's not his girl. But in private, he's saying, I love you. He's saying, you my girlfriend. He moved her in.
And that's where I come in as far as the importance to get out of this video is that this situation that's going on between Fresh, Walter Weeks, and Daisy Chen is your typical baby mom, baby dad story, only on a luxurious grand scale. Okay, you have this man who has money, who has this notoriety or whatever the case is, and then you have this woman who wants to be with, the guy that's on top, or the guy that everybody else wants, or Satan's child, essentially. Okay, because the fact that she is even with this man is already an L within itself. I mean anyone looking in from the outside can tell why she would want to be in a relationship with this man. But of course, this is just all my opinion. She could have genuinely just loved him for him and, wasn't thinking about the money or wasn't thinking about anything else or whatever the case is. But it was said in another video that I had saw that, the man has to be making at least $1 million. That's what she's claiming. So it's like, you can't say that it's not about money when it is about money. Oh, that's literally what you're saying. It's like the contradictory nature of women nowadays, where it's like, you'll literally say something and then contradicted at the same time as if that's not what you're saying. And I see that in men as well, where people will just say stuff and then turn around and then act like they didn't just say it, or act like you're supposed to omit the facts out of the situation. And it really comes down to the type of society that we're living in, where people are promoting delusion, where you're supposed to live in what your truth is, when reality and the facts of the situation are supposed to just be overlooked. Like, that's not how it's supposed to go. And facts don't care anything about your feelings, clearly, because look what's happening right now with their situation.
And on top of that, he publicly on video saying he loves her. Does that sound like somebody who's being treated like a jump off? I'm just saying. Everyone telling she's baby trapping him, all this other stuff. Is she baby trapping him, or is he just trapping her? I'm asking the questions. Because the only deception I've seen so far is from him towards her.
Exactly. A lot of men will do this, and it could be for many motives. It doesn't have to be for just so that they can get access to your panties, okay? It can be a money thing that they're using you. They're trying to take advantage of what you have. They're trying to take advantage of the fact that you might have a car. They're trying to take advantage of the fact that you have things more together than them. And the major plus of being able to have access to you in that intimate type of way. But a lot of times, like, you as a woman need to like put aside your pride and humble yourself. There are a ton of beautiful women out there. You have to actually look at the situation and peep the red flags, because it can be anyone can get the treatment. There are so that like there are so many men that play numbers game where you might think, oh, you're the special one that he's talking to at the store or whatever the case is, but in reality he just got shot down by 9 other women, and you're number 10. You're the one that went through. So you really have to think a lot deeper than just, oh, well, I'm a prize, so no duh, you would try to talk to me. But you don't know if you're getting played. Like, you don't know. A woman as beautiful as this being put in a situation where he's publicly embarrassing her, not claiming her, making it seem like she's delusional, because that's what guys and girls will do. But just based off of the simple scenario of Satan's child, okay, when it comes to a man who is Satan's spawn, he's going to move like Satan. And what do you think? And gaslighting you, making you seem like you're delusional, making you seem like you're crazy, making you fill up with doubt. That's a definite trait of the coward. So it's like you really have to be mindful about who you're laying in bed with.
Only trap I've seen so far is him basically love bombing the shit out of her so he can fuck her as much as he wants. Then when he's done, he just get rid of her.
Well, he's just making him like make him look like idiot right now, because clearly, like, he made that on public, and on the conversation you saw it. He calls me girlfriend, right? Yeah. Are you gonna take someone to see your entire family if she's not your girlfriend? Travel to your home country? That's not reasonable. You can like casually meeting your mother, that's fine. The first time I met his mother, I was like, okay, if you decide to do that, I don't mind.
Why did you accept being in a non-monogamous relationship with Resh?
Yeah, you know why? Because we were in a long-distance relationship. Because whether I agree or not, he's going to do that, and we weren't stable because we just got to know each other, and
So, and for the ladies out there, like, I hope that you're seeing, again, as beautiful as this woman is, right? And she has many options, okay? She'll be able to have a plethora of options, right? So you're seeing that, and yet she chooses to be with someone who isn't going to treat her right, is going to be sleeping with other women. She's willing to lower down her standards so much. And this is a product. You don't have to be an Instagram model. You don't have to be, this extravagantly anything, right? You could be an average person, an average woman walking on the street, and you're lowering your standards for whatever the case because of X, Y, and Z. Like, you don't want to put yourself in that situation where you're saying, oh, he's the it guy. Because that's the same thing that people be talking about when they say, oh, there's women we want in men that make over $200,000 a year, because what Kevin Samuels said, that 6-figure man, that's high value, right? Whatever. So you have that situation. Then you look at how many people actually make even $100,000 a year. How many people are actually millionaires? They're the 1% for a reason. So if the majority of women are clawing after these type of men, they're undoubtedly lowering their own standards just so they could be with this one type of man, just so they could have a meal ticket or whatever the case is, right? And no doubt that man, just based off of the evidence, the overwhelming evidence and screenshots, that he was lying to her to get intimate with her. to be with her, to be able to do whatever that he wanted to do with her without any consequences in his mind. But now that he's getting, he's seeing that he's not in control of everything. He wants to just have someone murder the child, his child, and not take responsibility for his actions, that he was never really going to take this woman seriously. He never did. He doesn't really love her, and he's just using her as a Kleenex tissue. That's about it. But the thing I'm trying to say is, like, you can, but lowering your standards to that point where you're okay with infidelity, where you're not sure who he's sleeping with, but you're cool with it. Like, as long as you use a condom doesn't protect you against everything. But the fact that you're willing to lower your standards so much, that's why I say don't listen to all this solo poly nonsense, all this whatever. That is just women's way of dealing with the hurt and the pain of knowing that you can get cheated on, or knowing that no matter how big your butt is, or no matter how good you look, or whatever the case is, that if a man is going to cheat, he's going to cheat. If he's the way he is, he's the way he is. And with all of these promiscuous women out here, it's not hard for a man to cheat. So you really have to think about that whole situation within itself. But it's crazy.
So I was thinking just to be there and move there, for, like, to be with him, maybe like it will be different, but I don't want to, like, it comes to a conclusion in the beginning, like,
you can't change a man. He has to be the way that he is. And if he really does love you and has something that's going on with him that is hindering your relationship, he is going to go above and beyond to fix it. Not you trying to figure out, oh, maybe if I move over here, or maybe if I cook him a meal every day, or maybe if I make sure that he's topped off before he leaves every day so he's not thinking about other women and stuff like that. Like, no, okay, no.
I'm going to stop this guy from doing everything just because he met me. Because in the early stage of the relationship, I don't want to...
Then I ask her, well, why do you not want to be intense about monogamy, but you are rushing to have a kid? I asked some tough questions.
That's a good question.
I'm not softballing it.
No, I ain't mad at you.
No.
I'm
She's like, I don't want to be too intense and like rush like monogamy, so I'm accepting this. But like,
literally, this came to my mind. I had a coworker who he was a serial cheater. Okay, absolutely, I would know them. And he had a girl, all right? Pretty little Jamaican girl, right? And woman, but you know what I mean. But basically, they were plotting and planning on having a baby. They were talking about baby. They were having baby fever. If you're in a relationship, you know about baby fever, right? And they were doing this thing, but when we brought up marriage, what about marriage? What about getting married to the girl? Why do your people are like so willing to do something that is so drastic, which is to reproduce life and have a life in you that was not here before. Okay, this is something completely new, fresh, and innocent. Are ready to just bring babies into the world, but aren't ready to say, hey, this is what it is. You're my wife. You're my husband, whatever the case is, right? They aren't willing to do that. And I've seen it with my own eyes. And it's like, ladies, take it first. I've seen it. I've seen so many men do this. They're not marrying you. They're not putting a ring on your finger. It does not take long for a man to decide and understand that he wants to be with you until grow old together, right? It doesn't take long. If it's been 5 years, 10 years, 2 decades, all of that stuff, no, he knows, and he doesn't want to be with you. He knows that there was something else that he wants. There's something else that is stopping him from going forward and making you an official thing. There's something that's stopping him from doing that. And at the same time, you need to be contemplating your exit strategy, because there's something going on there. You can't, like, you're not, it's crazy, yo.
But you want to have a baby with him.
Yeah, I understand, because I just felt like I'm not. I just feel like I'm not that type of girl that I have to be with someone for years to get married. Or if I like someone, I can have a kid with him for like a week. Like it's not. It doesn't matter. It's the time doesn't matter. I was with someone for 9 months. He really wanted to marry me. He's American, and I didn't want that. I ended that. When I met Walter, I just felt like, wow, there's so much chemistry.
What? I mean, I agree.
I'm just trying to.
Talk to me. Uh-huh.
No, I'm not the type of girl that can. I'm not the type of girl that's gonna have to that have to wait for a long time before I marry someone. Huh? What type of girl is that?
I mean, there's plenty of people who meet their husbands for the first time through arranged marriages or whatever.
Yeah, weird.
But I don't disagree. I'm just saying that's not that abnormal in different parts of the
Weird.
world.
It still doesn't answer the question. It doesn't answer the question of why you want to rush this baby, but you don't want to rush the monogamy.
Yeah, it didn't answer the question.
It doesn't answer anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't. As a matter of fact, it made it weirder. So I'm still questioning. Like, it doesn't absolve it doesn't absolve or take out of the equation the baby trapping thing situation because of that answer. That answer was so.
But that's not baby trapping. That's just what she's saying is there's some people out here who are just very like feels oriented. Meaning, oh, I loved her. Well, how do you know? It's been a week. I just feel it. Like some people are just like that. You know what I'm saying? They're very intuitive. Everything is just
You know what we call them?
what?
Stupid. Carry on. That's not very smart. That's not.
I agree it's not smart.
It's like
Having kids with somebody you met a week ago.
maybe-
What if he claimed he never wanted a baby? Would that be true?
He didn't want. Okay, if he say so, if he really didn't want the baby, after so many times I asked him in person, do not come in me. He does that every fucking day. Like he can just pull out. Easy as that. Because he was always like, oh, I'm doing this with my girlfriend. So really serious conversation, like planning a future and ask me what I want to do. Oh, I want to plan a future with you. Why don't we get a house instead of renting another apartment? That doesn't make sense, wasting money, blah, blah, blah. And he said, what if you get pregnant? Isn't that better for a bigger house?
Yo, they stupid.
Is that baby trapping?
they're gonna end up together.
Is that baby trapping? I'm asking. Is that baby trapping? You out here talking about let's get a house together because what if you get pregnant? Is that baby trapping, mama? I'm just asking. Just asking the question.
It's not. It's not.
Guys,
I understand what you're saying when you're saying it's not, but some of these answers, oh.
I think they're irresponsible, but that doesn't mean baby
Yeah.
trapping.
No, I wouldn't-
those are
exactly.
separate things.
Exactly.
Not pregnant, no baby. She tells that to Walter. He says, oh, you did a pregnancy test? She says, yeah, my period just came and 5 days ahead. So you play a good game. Okay, what game? This game on bed. I'm confused. Don't worry, we all are. I don't think anybody understood what she meant. And she goes, just kidding. I meant you are safe. Just letting you know. Next time you won't be so lucky. What's that saying?
I'm not having a baby.
I'm having your baby.
Yeah.
Next time you're not gonna be so lucky. And what does he write? Oh, I wasn't worried. I didn't want to pull out anyway. But that's good that you got your period. So so you're being a she's not too happy about it. I didn't reject you because I don't mind being pregnant with your baby. She's being direct.
Yeah.
She's telling him, and all he says is, no, I'm saying I like you a lot, and once you're happy, I'm happy. So can you understand why she's confused? He refusing to pull out, busting inside them sugar walls. And now all of a sudden he's been trapped. He don't want to be a dad. You have decided that you were not going to pull out of her vagina. So you're not going to pull out of fatherhood.
So, and the reason why I think he's trying to like throw her to the side and trying to say all this extra stuff is because of what he does for a living. He looks like an absolute joke. But I mean, I already knew that these two supposed men are absolute jokes, absolute simps, absolute weak, absolutely are just hyped up, are overly saturatedly, are overly praised for whatever reason. They have such I mean, and you know, do you, that's fine, obviously, right? But it's just wild because there are really men that look up to these men, and I don't get it. Like, I don't understand it. It's like you can see who's a man and who's not based off of just the moves that they make. And God forgive me, but it's just hard because it's like this is like proof. Like, it's just they're living a facade. There's nothing about them that screams discipline in terms of when it comes to women. Of course, their work ethic and, you know, being consistent and promoting their brand, whatever the case is. Obviously, they've made it, okay, in their success, right? But you also have to pay attention. Like, he's pushing her to the side because he doesn't want to look stupid. He needs to seem like he's the victim in all of this and not take action for his own mess.
Care of the baby.
You are not going to pull out a fatherhood.
You're gonna take care of the baby.
He has no choice. He's gonna pay. If I say, bro, I'm gonna punch you in the face. Yo, I missed last time, but this time I'm gonna punch you in your face. And then I punch you in your face.
No, wait. Whatever.
Is that, hold up. Is that a sucker punch?
No, it's not a second punch. Especially if you tell me you're gonna punch me in my face, and I tell you, whatever makes you happy.
Whatever makes you
And I
happy.
look at you like, whatever makes. If you're happy, I'm happy.
Bro.
And I get decked in the mouth. That's not a sucker punch.
Boys, you were not sucker punched. Take some accountability. Hold that out. Did you always tell him that you would not get an abortion?
Oh, I always told him. He knows I'm not getting any abortion, and plus, he didn't care at all. He was like, he was kind of like just admitted that if he's gonna make me pregnant, he's just gonna like raise a baby with me, and he didn't like say that, but all this his action proves that.
Doesn't mind isn't the same as saying he really wants to have a child. Why don't you get verbal confirmation if he really wanted a child with you?
No, because I was pretty sure that he was so serious about me. But then, okay, but at least he's not stupid that if he does this to me, I'm gonna get pregnant. I think it's just misunderstood. Maybe he was just being irresponsible. But for me, he's serious. Yeah, because I've never met someone like that. Nobody would treat me like that. Like, this is so evil. I've never met anyone like that. I'm not acting like a naive girl right here. Like, I traveled a lot of places, but nothing like this.
See, that didn't make much sense to me because in my head I'm like, so you want to be serious with somebody and you want to have a child with them, but you're not getting them to verbally say they also really want to have a child with them. Shouldn't that be something y'all establish properly?
And how long they been together?
4 or 5 months? And be busting inside her sugar walls every day, never pulling out. Can you show paperwork for pregnancy tests and ultrasound? A lot of people are saying that stuff is photoshopped or whatever, or it's just like, so I just wanted to at least see if she had actual real paperwork.
Yeah, I have no problem sharing that. I actually posted okay, so let me explain about the ultrasound. The doctor told me it's still early, 4 weeks. So she can't see everything, but she can still see a little bit, like a small quarter of it. But it's just like it's too early, you know. It's 4 weeks.
How did you know Pug CEO was the man to bust inside your sugar walls?
I have no idea.
Did you really ask?
I just feel like
I can't with these people.
I just feel like maybe everything happens. It was meant to be, you know, to meet him even. Out of all the people in Miami, every day I go out, I get so many how to say approach every day. Wherever the night we met at the party, and there were other guys. They were like another guy. He's really really into me. So Fresh was there as well. And I just don't know, like somehow he just got me curious. Everybody, like out of everybody, like when they see me interesting, they would come talk to me or making some nonsense. But this guy, he was just like staring at me, not saying anything, like full of questioning on his face. That just caused my curiosity. Because usually, I get a lot of approach, so it's not interesting for me. So I was like, okay, who's this guy? And then, okay, finally he said hi to me. He's like, where are you from? And I said, guess, if you're right, I will drink. If you're wrong, then you drink. So he was like, okay, this is interesting. And then he DM'd me. And then we went out. He's romantic. He's good at planning dates. And he's kind of dominate. He was just good at everything. He was saying things to me that made me feel it's real. He was genuine. And he made me feel
Oh, she's really
special.
beautiful.
Maybe no matter what other people were saying, like what he did to other girls, or even I found out later though, not when I just started.
What did you think hearing this?
What did I think about what?
About what you heard right now?
I'm not sure.
Because there's a whole narrative that
I'm
this
not
girl
sure.
was trying to baby trap him, or she wasn't really into him. She's there for the money or whatever it is. But when I hear her speak, you can notice in her face, you see how she smiles when she think about him and all that stuff. Like, I was actually surprised by this part because everyone's asking the same question. You know what people asking? Yo, why'd you get
why'd
with
you get-
Fresh?
yeah.
You
What?
seen him, but you look at her. That's the face of somebody who's actually into a man.
But she was impressed. So she was like,
Yeah.
you got game.
Yeah. So that's just one thing that I want to establish. Okay, why are you exposing him publicly?
Why?
So yeah, that's very interesting. When it comes to like women, I can see that. And she was laughing about it, like, smiling like she really did like him, like she was getting butterflies or something about him. And it's just interesting because, men definitely can get away with that. If you have a certain type of, personality to you, it doesn't matter what you look like, you can get, and I feel like it goes both ways. For the most part, it depends on the situation, but I'm not like a relationship guru or anything like that. But, there are definitely situations where a man would, prefer to be with this type of girl or whatever the case is, but, instead decides to go with a particular girl because she has a better personality that she can actually talk to or whatever the case is. So it's just interesting that, she seems like she really liked him.
Why? Because obviously now I hate him. I hate him for not being a man, stand up for his child, and not taking the responsibilities after. He doesn't have to love me, or he can break up with me. That's fine. For me, it's okay. It's some guy seen for 4 months.
We need to get rid of that narrative completely because it is misleading children. Because kids are going to learn from this. They're going to look at her, especially her. That's what, like, even like think about when you're growing up and you see certain things in movies. It could be even cartoons. You're looking at it because it's beautiful, because it's attractive, because it's pulling you in for some reason. And women and young women alike are going to look at the situation and think, oh, she's right. It's someone as beautiful as her, you don't need a man. You could just have babies willy-nilly. We need to understand that the fact that she's just willing to say, you know what, you can break up with me. You don't have to love me. It's whatever. I just want this baby. But she's doing it from a very selfish standpoint because she wants to have a baby, or babies are extremely adorable. She wants to have a baby for whatever reason. And the mom's having kids because the kid is cute, or because you like the guy and you're romanticizing it and you're like, I want to just have your baby because you're amazing or whatever the case is. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. There needs to be a foundation established ahead of time. There has to be some type of purpose, or else you could be bringing in a child into a fatherless situation. Okay. His money is one thing. She's looking at it like, oh, as long as I have, his money, as long as you're paying for this baby. No, you're doing your child, you're doing your baby a huge disjustice. I mean, it's already happening now, but we need to learn from it. Women, you need to learn from it. Men, you need to learn from this and have discipline. It's not all about just who can you bust a nut in next. Okay, I hate to say it like that, but there's more to it. You're not sleeping with a sex doll. You're playing with reproductive organs that's attached to a heart, a brain, a soul that wants to do what he wants to do. Okay, that heart, whatever her heart wants to do, she's gonna do it, unless you're gonna, murder her or some craziness. You know what I'm saying? Like, which is definitely bad. But the fact that he's telling her to murder the child is absolutely wild.
I was like gonna get over with it, but I'm pregnant. This is serious for me.
This is just a bit of a sidewalk, but Fresh and Fit fan accused Fresh of buying you a bracelet for 30 grand. On a podcast, he said he never paid a dime. Nobody has a receipt. Is this true?
The Chinese escort, because I'm about to get Fresh on this one too. So Fresh, you gave an extremely expensive Von Cleef bracelet, which are worth up to 30K, to a Chinese escort you just met. Now, Fresh, you claim that you didn't give her the gift. That's what you claim.
Show me the proof.
But the escort says that you did.
Look at her page in detail. What does she have on there? Multiple gifts from herself, by the way, or from her ex. Whatever she does for her money, bro, is up to her. So to put that on me, just because you want to say, oh, Fresh is a simp, wrong.
So you didn't buy it?
Fresh, so can you
No.
You're just trying to say that he bought the bracelet. He didn't buy the bracelet.
And
No, it's not true. He paid.
It just seems like, again, he's covering, trying to say, oh, Fresh is a simp. Like, trying to not be labeled this, because he is in a situation where their career is built off of non-simphood, or the image of non-simphood, really. So it's like,
He paid half and I paid half. Like I said, how much? Around 30K. Well, first I still have the conversation. I told him, what's the issue if you tell everyone you bought me the bracelet? Like, why can't you tell everyone? Why can't you speak the truth? Like, why are you like pretending it, like hiding it? But then he was like, don't say it. He just told me to shut up.
It's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. It's a big deal.
it's a red flag, in my opinion. If you're noticing something, like a good example is, I'm not hype about social media. Honestly, it would be dope to run into somebody who doesn't have a social media. But if your like significant other isn't claiming you, isn't bringing you around certain people, isn't showing you around friends, isn't claiming you on social media or posting pictures or anything like that, or whatever the case is, right? I feel like it's a red flag, especially if that person is someone who is heavily on social media. Wouldn't you want to even show one picture? I'm not saying to do a whole photo album, but even show one picture of the person that you're spending time with, that you care about, or whatever the case is, right? That's just my opinion on it.
Deal to them.
Yes.
It's a big deal to the fans, and it's a big deal to them because it really makes you look like I see them.
Yep.
I wouldn't give a shit. You give things to people. You give things to people that you appreciate.
15 grand?
Wait a minute.
Some of you just met. But these guys always want to claim they don't pay for nothing. They don't do none of this stuff.
And he paid
don't,
half.
They don't use their money to get. But you realize they all do it. They all doing it. They're paying for random girls' apartments. They're all doing this kind of stuff. So why is he lying? Not because it's a big deal, but it's like Preach said, it's a big deal to the fans. And now you have to double down, triple down on the lie. And it's almost insulting because your fans are being like, yo, are you living up to your principle? And you're like, yes, I am. You guys are lying and saying I'm not. When you just ask the girl, it's like, oh, no, he's lying about it. So the only reason I brought this up is because Fresh can't be trusted about what he says on this topic because he's already proven time and time again he's going to lie to protect his reputation. Do you think that all this is good for your future baby?
That's another good fucking question.
Yeah.
It's not. That's why in the beginning, it's not good for the baby, actually. That's why I just want to tell the truth, because when I first test positive, and I was just kind of shocked because I just want to see where his head's at, and then I try to like talk to him. I called him. I text him. He acts like nothing happened. Like, not my business. Like, woman, not my business. Deal with it. We're not together. Like, don't call me. Don't text me. Things like that. That was his behavior. I have a 37 minutes conversation between me and him. What if you think we don't keep the baby because we're not together anymore? Things happen, and I'm gonna take care of you. I'm gonna take you to the hospital. That would be.
Well, the thing that gets me about this too is that she's recording the conversations, and you know, that in itself is a bit sketchy to me. Like, I don't think that I would, you know, just purposely just record unless she knows that he's going to have a problem with it. Because again, she didn't really talk about getting a verbal confirmation from him that he wanted to have a baby. He was kind of just like, you know, glazing over the topic or whatever the case is, or it kind of insinuating. But that's just something that I thought was interesting.
Fine, I'll be okay. But he did completely the other way around. That just made me so sad. That just made me so sad. How can you you said you love me like literally 2 weeks ago and wanted to cling a future with me, and now you acting like this with me.
When did you tell him you're pregnant?
On the 30th. Yeah, I called him immediately. When I exposed him, when I start to decide to expose him.
Right there, I'd asked her, when did you call the lawyer? So so essentially what happened was she called him on the 30th of March, being like, hey, wait, 30th of March? Am I thinking the right date? What are we right now?
March or April.
We're April? Okay, oh, sorry. So we called her on 30th of March, telling her she's pregnant. And I think on April 4th, that's when she started exposing him. So on April 4th.
Denied and everything. And stuff.
Yeah, because when she contacted him, he's just like, bro, I don't know you. Get the fuck away from me. Like, no, that's your problem. Go deal with it. And so she's like, yo, you got me pregnant. You just gonna disappear on me? So when she exposed her, she's like, I'm calling a lawyer. I'm going to figure this whole shit out. And so that's the timeline of how things went down. It's 2 + 2 4.
2 + 2 is 4. Yeah. That's mathematic.
Mathic.
No. And then I asked her, who decided that?
Who decided that? That's just logic. That's just the math. Without this, the world doesn't function. You can't count on anything.
So they're referencing another like episode that they did where basically Fresh is questioning logic and saying, who said 2 + 2 is 4 and who created it. So that's basically where the connection is, and it's hilarious because she's just like answering the question regularly, like that's like, why would you even ask me type of question, because you know she definitely does have like a language barrier and she doesn't seem like the smartest person right now, but the fact that she knows that 2 + 2 is 4 and that's just what it is, like that is God created everything, you whether you believe it or not, but he's absolute, matter of fact. Okay, and 2 people + 2 people, there are 4 people. That's just what it is. But the fact that she doesn't know that her man, who she's so head over heels with, right? The same man who she says, I like this, and something about him. She doesn't even know, apparently, that this man actually thinks the way that he does, that is his ideology, that is his logic and the truth that he wants to live in. But if you really think about it, like, and put this on your own life, don't go try to be with somebody because of a surface face value situation. There are so many things that you don't even know that you disagree on. There are so many things in life if you knew what your partner or whatever, if that's how they felt about the situation, you would not agree with them. You would not want to be with them. You would things that you would consider like a deal breaker. Like a good example, if your guy is okay with going out with the other dudes to the strip club, is that something that you're going to be comfortable with? Is that something that he knows that you would be comfortable with? Or if he's willing to just keep that, you know, from behind the scenes or whatever the case is. There's so many things behind the scenes when it comes to a person, because you're only looking at the physicality of this person. You're not thinking about who they were raised by, what are their morals, what have they done, and what are they planning to do. There is so much more that goes into sleeping with people than just, oh, let's have a one night stand, let's just have fun, whatever the case is. You're playing in fire.
Everybody knows that. Idiot.
I needed to know the answer.
You're not good.
Okay.
He's probably undereducated. he doesn't have anything else to say on the podcast.
But you let this
Oh, I
dummy
guess
bust
you-
inside you. Wow.
Okay, so she's probably knows. Maybe he said that beforehand, and she knows and calls him an idiot. But that's true. Why would you let this person who literally has no, is so prideful, doesn't even respect knowledge? It's wild.
I mean, you can't talk shit about.
Damn.
He was coding your sugar walls. I'm just saying. You know?
God damn, Abba.
Yeah, but I didn't realize that before because
Yeah, see,
I
just the yikes. And now
I just thought he's funny.
you,
Then
now you have his whole mini baby in you. The now you're growing his seed, wherever that seed may be coming from, wherever that the spirits and the things that he went through. Because again, just based off of certain things, the man is prejudiced. You know, he said some things in the past that was like, oh, both of them, they said some really racist things against black people. So it's like, it's like so interesting that people don't know about, you don't know about somebody. That's why the time part of it does play a major role. I'm not saying that it's just according to this world, but I'm not saying that, you know, there isn't love at first sight or somebody whatever the case is, but you want to give yourself time, especially in this world, to get to know somebody, to see them angry, to see them upset, to see them go through loss, to see them go through the wins. Well, how are they moving? Are they treating you any differently? Are they moving a certain type of way when this person comes into the room? You have to be deeper than that, because it's very, very deep. How much more deeper can you get in the physical by having a man penetrate you, let alone what that's doing spiritually? That it's going even deeper than that.
then you're gonna end up with a dumb baby.
I was gonna say you're literally growing like his logic type of baby, a baby that, if you could just mold him appropriately, maybe, or her appropriately, maybe she's not going to be affected by his stupidity. But I don't know.
Any regrets about how this whole thing is unfolded so far?
Yeah. First, for being so dumb, letting him come inside on me without marriage.
At least
And I don't regret exposing. I don't. Yeah. Who's Abba?
I asked her if she's gonna have a boy. Does she know what she's gonna name him?
Oh my god. I don't know. Don't ask me this question because I haven't decided yet.
What about the name Abba?
Well, I got so many DMs already that they want to step in and they want to be the stepfather.
Already, niggas is stepping in trying to be the stepdaddy.
Step in the name of love.
I will say this:
Step in the name of love.
if you end up having legal troubles and they sue you and whatever, if you name that kid after me, I'll pay for all your legal troubles. That's a promise. So if you need help financing a lawyer to fight off Fresh and Fit, man, you mean if Walter Jr. over there got the name Abba, I'll pay all them bills. I'll sleep. Hey, listen. As far as I'm concerned, I think you deserve every dime.
What's her name? We don't know her last name.
Daisy. That's what we all call her. Okay.
Daisy
Imagine
Chen.
she names him Abba Preach Daisy.
Yo, and then I'm guessing that's like because they had a whole beef or whatever the case is. But that's so interesting.
I'm paying them legal fees.
Yes, there's already men that are lining up to be the stepdaddy. So it should tell you that, you know, the world we live in, yes, the 304 is their issue, the women that you know, milk men, that only focus on men for the money that they have, that only value them as much as their banks value them. You can't really be too mad at them because it's the men who are giving they're getting the demand. And so they're bringing the supply, and it's crazy. Everyone needs to have their own accountability, but it's just wild to see this whole situation unfold. Okay, it was wild to see, and just to show you, like, this is just the typical baby mom, baby dad story. It's just they have money. They just have money. Okay, and that's basically what it comes down to. All right, it doesn't, and you need to be careful who you're sleeping with. It's not just about that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And the situations that's going on in this society, we're both men and women have to start taking accountability.